How much of your life is truly yours? In a world that thrives on comfort and convenience, it's easy to overlook the hidden costs, such as your autonomy, your freedom, and even your sense of purpose. What you don't realize is that the more you prioritize shortcuts, the further you drift from living intentionally. If you've ever felt stuck, like life is happening to you instead of for you, this video is a must-watch. I'll uncover the 9 essential things people trade for comfort and how reclaiming them can set you free. Number 1, what you eat. What you eat is essential, not just for health, but for reclaiming autonomy in a world that thrives on convenience. As someone who spent decades grabbing lunch between meetings, I've seen how convenience has taken a bite out of our health. Back in my day, lunch meant a quick bite at the diner, nothing fancy, but at least the food had a face, a cook flipping burgers right there. Now, it's all apps and prepackaged meals. Handy? Sure, but they've turned what we eat into a chemistry experiment. Take it from me, processed foods aren't feeding us, they're slowly poisoning us. Addictive sugars, preservatives with names you can't pronounce, and portions bigger than ever are today's reality. I learned the hard way. After one too many drive-through breakfasts and a health scare, my wife nudged me toward meal planning. Cooking from scratch isn't just healthier. It's an essential act of self-care. Small steps like these restore control over what's on your plate. Trust me, trading convenience for lasting comfort is a decision you won't regret. Number 2, how you get your financial advice. Getting financial advice that truly serves your interests is essential. When I was younger, I thought financial advisors were magicians. You'd hand over your savings, and just like that, you'd be set for life. But I quickly learned that some of them aren't exactly helping you grow your wealth. They're draining it with hidden fees and bad advice. And banks, don't even get me started. The traditional financial system is a leaky ship, eroding wealth and sovereignty for both nations and people. Most folks don't realize that blindly following trends or parking all their savings in a low-yield account is like running on a hamster wheel. Lots of effort, no progress. My wake-up call came during a market crash when I realized I didn't know the difference between a bond and a bond villain. Here's what helped me regain control: self-education. I started reading about fiat money, decentralized finance, and even Bitcoin. Diversifying with alternative investments and learning to manage my own finances gave me peace of mind. As Warren Buffett says, risk comes from not knowing what you're doing. Take the essential step of trading blind reliance for financial sovereignty. You won't regret it. Number 3, where you get your news and information. There was a time when news meant facts. Now it's a contest to see what sells best. Mainstream media has turned into a circus, funded by governments and big corporations who, let's be honest, don't have your best interests at heart. The result? We're fed narratives that steer us like sheep. I fell into this trap too. For years, I'd let the evening news tell me what to think, until I caught them spinning a story I knew firsthand. That's when I started asking, what else am I swallowing without chewing? These days, I trade convenience for a curated news diet. It takes effort, but uncovering those essential nuggets of truth makes the trade worth it. Number 4, shopping habits. Our shopping habits are essential to shaping your self-reliance, or losing it. Shopping today is like magic. Need batteries, a garden hose, and a pair of socks? Amazon drops it at your doorstep before you've even put the kettle on. But here's the truth: this kind of convenience turns comfort into dependency. I learned this the hard way during a power outage. Couldn't fix a leaky pipe, couldn't even light a candle. Why? Because I'd outsourced my essential skills to a delivery app and a Wi-Fi connection. Back in the day, if something broke, you fixed it, or at least tried. Now we just replace it with next-day delivery. It's a cozy trap, but costly in the long run. A neighbor of mine showed me how to patch drywall once. It wasn't pretty, but I felt like $1 million. Trading brand consumerism for self-reliance isn't just smarter, it's liberating. Number 5, health and wellness. I used to think staying healthy meant popping a pill and calling it a day. Got a headache? Take something. High cholesterol? There's a med for that. It's tempting. Quick fixes feel like comfort. But here's the thing, they're not cures. They're Band-Aids. It hit me hard after a health scare in my 50s when my doctor said, "You're not sick, you're simply undermaintained." Turns out health is like running a business. You don't wait for things to break, you invest in upkeep. So I traded fad diets for balanced meals. I started walking every day, then jogging. And let me tell you, mindfulness has been a total game changer. Skip the sick care treadmill when you can. As they say, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Trust me, proactive health isn't just wise, it's the ultimate comfort. Number 6, career choices. For years, I was locked into the golden handcuffs, a lucrative job, a prime office, and a benefits package that had my mother beaming with pride. But let me tell you, trading passion for stability is like rowing in a circle. You're busy, but you're not getting anywhere. I stayed in a job that didn't excite me for far too long, convincing myself that the paycheck made it worth it, when in reality, it never did. Here's what I've learned. You don't have to quit everything overnight. Start small. Explore a side hustle, learn new skills, or even negotiate flexible work arrangements. Like Steve Jobs once said, "The only way to do great work is to love what you do." Trading stability for passion doesn't mean losing comfort. It simply means finding purpose. Number 7, social connections. When I was a kid, connection meant sitting on the porch with a neighbor and sharing stories until the fireflies came out. Now it's a thumbs up on a picture of someone's lunch. Trading deep relationships for easy connections is like replacing a home-cooked meal with fast food. It fills you up but doesn't nourish you. For years, I used social media as my way of keeping in touch. Birthdays meant a quick text, and scrolling became my version of maintaining friendships. But after my retirement party, I realized something was missing, the real connections that make life rich. So I unplugged, started hosting Sunday dinners with my kids and their families. I joined a local book club where discussions often veer wildly off topic, and that's half the fun. Turns out nurturing relationships takes effort, but it's worth every ounce. Genuine connections are the true comfort worth keeping. Number 8, privacy and security. Back in my day, privacy was essential, but not something you had to think about. Your mail stayed in your mailbox, and your conversations didn't leave the room. Now, every click seems to feed some mysterious data machine. Trading privacy and security for convenience is like leaving your front door wide open because locking it feels like too much trouble. I'll admit I fell for it. One day my granddaughter showed me an ad on her phone for a grill I'd been eyeing online. "How did it know?" I asked, more than a little creeped out. She just laughed. That was my wake-up call. Now, I use privacy-focused apps, avoid oversharing on social media, and keep a wary eye on free services, because if it's free, you are the product. Number 9, education and skill development. When I was young, the rule was simple. Go to school, get a degree, and you're set for life. So I did just that. Spent 4 years and a small fortune chasing that piece of paper. Don't get me wrong, it opened doors, but what kept me climbing wasn't my diploma. It was what I learned after. Trading education and skill development for traditional pathways alone is like driving with a map from 30 years ago. Sure, it worked once, but times have changed. I saw this firsthand with my nephew, a self-taught coder who skipped college and built an app that paid for his first house. Meanwhile, a buddy of mine was drowning in debt and stuck in a job he hated. It's not that one path is better, it's about what works for you. You can dabble in online courses and pick up skills you never thought you'd need. Lifelong learning is the real comfort. It keeps you sharp, curious, and prepared for whatever comes next. So what are you trading for comfort? From the food you eat to the way you work, connect, and learn, every choice shapes not only your life, but the resilience of your community. Reclaiming control in these areas means building a life that's fulfilling, independent, and truly yours. Start small. Focus on one area today, whether it's cooking a meal from scratch or fostering deeper connections. Every step counts. Freedom isn't given to us. It's something we create. Are you ready to take that first step toward real freedom?